So be nervous, Sam. I can remember when Calvin got saved. Again, he made the decision of when he was going to get baptized. And he hadn't been baptized yet. I mean, he hadn't joined our church yet either. And he was goofing around, just acting a fool in the house, doing something, just dancing around. I said, "Hey, boy, Baptists don't dance." And he looked at me as quick as that. He said, "I'm not Baptist yet." He understood that option at a young age. And we had truly a privilege. Good friend of my dad's, Pastor Gregory, invited us to preach a youth camp there in West Virginia. And I was just thrilled. He thought highly enough of me to come. I don't know if he'll ever ask me again now that he's heard me preach, but we're glad we got to go. We got to spend a whole week there, bring the whole family there. Just something about getting away from the things of the world, getting away from work, getting away from distractions, electronics. And we preached to these high school freshmen through graduating class all week. And we dealt with the life of Joseph. We talked about presenting ourselves. And talked about what Pastor Stogsdill shared with us a few years back about the idea of surrender versus yielding. And when you played cowboy in Indians as a kid, and when you surrender, you put your hands up. So I surrender. They put you in the fake jail. And as soon as that jailer turns his back, you're looking to get away. And he shared with us the idea that when it comes to the Lord's word, we ought to yield. And the yield is submit. So God, whatever you want me to do, I'll do. Right. And I dealt with during the preaching that week on yielding, what it means to yield. We just had an awesome liberty to preach. Had a wonderful week. And Friday night, I noticed the last message I preached on was I will. Joseph's brothers come to him. Dad died, and they think we're in for it. Joseph's finally going to get even. And Joseph makes that statement. He says, "I will nourish you and your children. I will." And we talked about making a commitment for the Lord. And I noticed that Calvin had gone up to pray. And I saw him praying there and went back. And each night we have a bonfire with testimony time. And we were up in a little apartment changing. I said, "Hey, son, I saw you went down to pray." I said, "What did you pray about?" I think it's a good thing to be concerned about the spiritual well-being of your children. I just asked him. I said, "What's on your heart? What are you praying about?" And he started to look teary-eyed. He said, "I want to pray that God will make myself available for God to use me." I said, "Well, that's good. That's good. I think that's a good place to be." And I knew the Lord was working in it. That night we had the testimony time, and one of the young men who was starting to preach a couple of years ago in his 20s had come back and visited and asked a good friend of ours, Todd Hall. Todd had stood up and said, "Look, if you're not in full-time ministry, you're not a pastor yet, but you feel that maybe over the years God's called you to preach at this camp, would you stand up with me? It was kind of dark out, and he said, "Would you stand up with me? Let's make a commitment that we're not going to give up on God. We're going to follow through what God's done in our lives." And then we'll have Pastor Gregory pray over us. And Amanda and I are sitting on this side, and the kids over here kind of spread out. And I noticed there's a little short kid in the back, and looked like Calvin. And he's shy, and it's not like him to get up in front of Calvin like that. Couldn't see his face, all I could see was his shoulder. I told Amanda, I said, "I think that's Calvin standing out there." And she said, "No, that's not." We're looking, I'm watching. When I saw after the prayer, the ball cap went off. I said, "That's Calvin." So I snuck over inside the fire and I said, "Hey, you stand up with those boys that God's called me to preach?" He said, "Yeah." "Well, what's that mean?" And he just tucked his head on my shoulder and said, "God, I'm yielding to God to be a preacher." So you pray for Calvin. I told him when we had a chance to talk with him, and obviously none of us have arrived by any stretch of the imagination. But I told him, I said, "Look, it's a work in progress.
Amen.
We're going to encourage you. You can't walk on water. You're flesh and bones, just like the rest of us. We're not going to lift you up. We don't believe in preacher worship. Right? We're not going to do that. But God uses a man." And the very first message that we preached that week was the second message, where God sent a certain man to Joseph when Joseph was wandering in the field. A certain man came along. And I thank God for the certain men in my life.
Yeah.
My pastor, Pastor Stogsdill, has been a certain man in my life. I look forward to seeing how God's going to use Calvin. Calvin, you got something in that book in your hand, don't you? Our son. Amen. Take as much time as you need.
Amen.
Amen.
Working. Tonight I'm going to preach on some has to do dirty and hard work. So first we'll look at number one, examples of the Bible. So please turn to Acts chapter 5, verse number 1. We're going to look at the young men, Ananias and Sapphira. Most people heard about that, but we're going to read that. But a certain man named Ananias, with Sapphira's wife, sold possession and kept back part of the price. His wife, also being privy to it, brought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet. But Peter said, Ananias, why has Satan filled thy heart to lie in the Holy Ghost and to keep back part of the price of the land? Whiles it remained, was it not thine own? And after it was sold, was it not in thine own power? Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart? Thou hast not lied unto men, but unto God. And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost, and great fear came on all them that heard these things. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out, and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after, when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in, and Peter answered unto her, Tell me whether ye sold the land for so much. And she said, Yea, for so much. Then Peter said unto her, How is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then fell she down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. So I'm going to look at the verses, verse 6. And the young men arose, wound him up, and carried him out, and buried him. And verse number 10. And then fell she down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in, and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. So we're looking at examples of the Bible for people who had to do dirty and hard work. So the young men, they had to bury, and that would have been hard and dirty because you have to dig and stuff, so that would be hard. So now we're going to look at the next example. Samuel, please turn to 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse number 32. Then said Samuel, Bring ye hither to me Agag, the king of the Amalekites. And Agag came unto him delicately, and Agag said, Surely the bitterness of death is past. And Samuel said, As thy sword hath made women childless, so shall thy mother be childless among women. And Samuel hewed Agag in pieces before the Lord in Gilgal. So, what led up to this is God told Saul to kill all the Amalekites, and he didn't. So God had Samuel go and confront Saul and tell him that God had rejected him as the king of Israel. And that's when Samuel hewed Agag. And hew is to chop, to cut, or to hack. And that would have been dirty and hard. So, let's go to Luke chapter 10. Verse number 38. Now it came to pass as they went that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet and heard his word. And Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him and said, Lord, dost thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore help me. So for that example, she had to serve, which would have been hard for her to do. And now go to Matthew 27, and then after you're there, mark it and go to Mark 15:21. Right, we will read Matthew, chapter 27, verse number 32. And as they came out, they found a man of Cyrene, Simon by name, him they compelled to bear his cross. And now Mark chapter 15, verse number 21. And the compelled one, Simon the Cyrenian, who passed by, coming out of the country, the father of Alexander and Rufus, to bear his cross. So, Jesus was being led up to Golgotha, and his cross became too heavy for him to carry. So the Roman soldiers compelled Simon to carry the cross, and that would have been hard and dirty because you know that it wasn't very smooth or anything. So, and then the last example. Turn to John chapter 13, verse number 1. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Jesus knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him, Jesus, knowing that the Father had given all things in his hands, and that he was come from God and went to God, he riseth from supper, laid aside his garments, and took a towel, and girded himself. After that he poureth water into a basin, and began to wash the disciples' feet, and to wipe them with the towel wherewith he was girded. So verse I want to look at is verse number 4 and 5, when Jesus took the towel and girded himself and washed the disciples' feet. And that would have been hard because the disciples' feet, they had sandals back then, so it would have been really dirty, and that would have been hard to do. Now, number 2, what does this mean to you? Anyone can do it, anyone can work. Preachers can do it, Samuel and Jesus did it. Lay people can work, Martha and Simon, and young and old, the young men from Acts, and Samuel, he worked. And then B, work doesn't have to be in the church. Martha opened up her home to Jesus and helped him. And then you should volunteer, don't get drafted. Simon was compelled. Compelled is to drive or urge with force or irresistibly, to constrain, to oblige, to necessitate, either by physical or moral force. And he could have been blessed if he would have volunteered instead of being forced to carry Jesus' cross. So, hope you got something out of the message.
Amen.